look up to, because I feel like all relationships are so different, so different,
Yeah.
and you create it to what you want to be, and you know what you put up with, you know what you don't put up with, and
Yeah, it's like
um,
I feel like they came to an agreement. You know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
this is what I want in my meal. You know what I mean? If we're gonna be married, this and that gotta happen. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of JCIRL, Connecticut's #1 transformation podcast, where we put faith to action and share stories of testimonies with viewers like you. Today, we have a special podcast, and I'm going to start off with the purpose of the podcast before I get into my special interviewee, which is a soul survivor. The purpose of this one is we're going to interview so that people going through the struggle, whether in health or wealth, know that the Lord is real and it's only a season to all things. Through it all, by keeping our faith strong in the Lord, no matter how life changes or shifts on us, we are able to be saw through. He died for us, so we give our lives to him. God is real, and God is real, and this is how we feel him in everyday life. Welcome to my guest, Dayna. I don't know your last name, Dayna.
Lindo.
Linda?
Lindo.
Lindo.
Yeah.
Dayna Linda. Hold on, let me do that again. Welcome to my guest, Dayna Lindo. I didn't say
Hey,
that right.
everybody.
I
You
felt like
said it.
it was like I hesitated. Dayna Lindo. I'm not used to saying your last name. Everybody, what up, everybody? Now let's welcome in my new guest, Dayna Lindo. Yeah, you can just say
Hey, everybody.
hey. Okay. Something I want you to know about Dayna. Dayna is a survivor, and she puts on for her people, and I love who you are as a person. You know, I met you out there doing the social justice stuff, and
Thank
just staying politically savvy out here and knowing what's going on with the development in the community. And I always seen you as a strong spirit. And I remember you say you was going through something at a time, and you said that you was gonna make it through. Like you told me before it even got real, you know what I'm saying, I might be. And she's like, you know what, I'm already good because I talked to the Lord about it. And I was like, word, I felt like, you know, you're a strong follower of Christ, and that your faith is strong. And I was like, you know, I believe it. Just because you said it, I was like, I believe. So and you know, I also believe in the Lord. So I was like, yo, after everything, you know, everything's finished, let's talk about it. Because everybody has a story, everybody has a journey, and I believe that it deserves to be told. So now we're taking today to hear your side of the story.
Word.
Uh,
I'm here for it. I'm ready to share whatever you
so,
want to know.
so Dayna, before we get started on the journey, let's get on. Let's get the background. Like, what's your education like? What kind of school you went to? Uh, what was your experiences like growing up in the city? And like, what work you wanted to get involved with, like you were passionate about in the city?
So that's a good question. I actually fell into activism here in the community. So I actually, my journey began freshman year of college, because I went to Suffolk University in Boston, and I spent 2 years there. And, I had a great time. I met some of the best people who are still friends with me till this day. And growing up middle class in Connecticut, in the hood, like I realized that I was very sheltered. So going out on my own in Boston was a really dope new experience. But I realized, wow, it's really racist in Boston. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
really racist,
the
and it was
temperature is
something.
different.
It's something like I grew up in Queens, New York, and then moved to like a very urban neighborhood in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So like always been diverse. This was the first time that I was around a lot of white people for the first time. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was just it was different. Like it was like I felt invisible for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I at times my humanity wouldn't even be acknowledged. Like, you
Wow.
know, I would walk into like uh you know it's college, so you walk into a room, you say hi to people. Sometimes I'd say hi, I wouldn't even get a response. Like it was like I
Mm-hmm.
was a weird phenomena.
Wow.
And it was hard for me to process. And so I transferred from Boston. It was mostly money too, because Suffolk was expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I transferred from Boston to the University of New Haven, and there I was commuting from Bridgeport to New Haven. So
Okay.
I actually needed more activities to do, and that's when I started to get involved in the Bridgeport community. Um, I was involved with I Love Bridgeport, Downtown Thursdays, Rally and
Word.
Peace
I
Project.
love them. I love what they was doing. I Heart.
Yeah. And I hope that, after Corona passes, we can still go and enjoy.
Yeah.
Um, I was involved with the Rally and Peace Project, Bridgeport Generation Now,
Yeah, my
which
boy Oba.
yes, which then so Bridgeport Gen Now sponsored my radio show and podcast, and I was doing that for a while, interviewing people in the community, like some big names, the police
Wow.
chief, a lot of different people.
I
Dr.
didn't
Umar
even know that.
Johnson. Oh yeah, Dr. Umar Johnson was on my podcast, and
Why I feel
you
like I
know,
seen that. But it was like
probably
last year?
yeah, last
Okay.
year, and it was growing, and then I got diagnosed with cancer. So
Hmm.
like, yeah, that's my background. I was really trying to, my goal with my podcast was, how people talk about Bridgeport in a very negative light. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to highlight some of the positive stuff, the great
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
so that people here are just people,
Yeah. Like
and
everywhere else.
exactly, we're going through the normal things, just trying to get justice, and exposing the education system, and hopefully trying to get more resources for us. So,
Exactly.
um,
It's advocacy.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you moved on through there with for us real quick. So yeah, so you was booming. Everything was going on. You had a sponsored podcast. I'm pretty sure you was passionate about that. So
Very.
what stopped? Why'd you stop?
So I stopped because I started to have some issues with my health. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was the
Exactly.
main reason. I uh like, to be frank, like nobody's perfect, right? Um while
Absolutely.
I was on the radio, I was doing well, like working a full-time job, starting my business and growing my podcast. And I also had a drinking problem and an alcohol problem, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
No, it's real talk, real rap.
a marijuana problem. Like, I would, not like I was waking up and drinking every day, but I would smoke marijuana almost every day. I was drinking, almost every weekend,
Mm-hmm.
so
You was living life, like the
I was
rest of them,
living
the
life.
best of them.
Living life like it's golden.
Hey, if we, yeah, I know how it is. You up? You definitely wanna, have a drink. You know what I mean? Celebrate, keep that feeling going, keep those endorphins going. So
Right,
yeah, I
right. I was
definitely
living,
understand.
definitely was living the fast life, and so, like, that's one thing that really slowed me down, because in the
The diagnosis,
entertainment
it slowed you down.
industry. What? Yes, my diagnosis. In the entertainment industry, it is fast,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for me, I really needed to take a step back and prioritize my health.
Okay, okay. So I imagine that didn't feel good. Everything's changing now. Like, bring us through some of the emotions, when you got diagnosed, and then you noticed, you wasn't in the media as much. You had to, change a different, start a different lifestyle. Maybe other people noticed that, how'd that feel?
So yeah, I'll take you through the process. So this is what basically happened. So 2019, in March, like early March, I had gone to Mardi Gras.
All
Had a
right.
dope time. It was lit.
Nice. I wanted to go this year, but Corona.
Next
That
year,
sounds like a
hopefully.
great time. Yeah, that sounds like a great time. You was really living, huh?
I was living, I'm telling you. But then, so I returned back to work, and my job was very stressful. And
Mm.
so I woke up one day and like it felt like I had slept wrong. You know how you like can't turn your head like
Yeah, a little
after
crook in your boy, real quick. Mm-hmm.
right. And I felt a huge lump on my neck. So I was like, okay, like I have to do something about it. So I
Mm-hmm.
called a masseuse to um work on it, and she actually worked on it. Great masseuse.
Nice.
But it made the lump worse.
Mm. You ain't supposed to
And
touch it.
so yeah, it hurt a lot. And so I started to go to the doctors, and I went to about 3 doctors, and none of them took me seriously. They were like,
Mm.
"Oh, like, it's probably just nothing. Did you travel? Did you have a cold recently?" And I
Not
was like,
dismissing.
"No." I felt like it was serious, but they weren't taking me
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah. No, we need some scans in here right now.
Right. So
Right.
by the fourth doctor, I went in, and again he was about to give me the same story, and I had to do his job for him. I said, um I just need you to refer me to an oncologist. And
Exactly.
he was like, okay. Like he didn't think about my
He wants to
response.
get out of there. He wasn't even.
I was like, yes, please refer me to an oncologist. So I go to the oncologist. She feels the lump. She's like, I want to retest everything. Before I had a biopsy, and um, it actually came back okay. So that's one thing I want to tell anybody listening. If you have a lump and you get a biopsy, sometimes the first result isn't the best one. I would recommend you do it twice, because when I went back and I did the biopsy again, this time they actually had to do a surgery. Like I have this scar right about
Hmm.
here.
Oh wow.
Um, they took the mass out and
Hmm.
tested it, and that's when. So I was alone at the doctor that day, and I wasn't. Well, I'll give you the background story. Basically that day they diagnosed me with cancer.
Mm.
But a couple days before that, I was writing in my journal, because I journal,
Yeah.
and I like kept hearing the Lord speak to me. He said to me, I'm gonna use you for inspiration, but everything is going to be fine. And I didn't know what he meant at that time. Um, but the next day I was diagnosed with cancer. Literally the next day. So if I grab my journal right now, you'll see I was diagnosed on September 17th. The day before, September 16th, I was writing in my journal like what the Lord told me. And the next day I was diagnosed. And so the next day I didn't even remember what the Lord told me. I was in the office distraught. Like I
Mm.
was scared, I was crying. I really didn't know what to think. I was in shock, you know. Um and it just felt surreal. Like it felt like a dream, really. Um and truthfully, I fell into a depression. I was like, my life is over, like I felt like nothing else really matters right now. What matters is my health. So that's why I, had to cut back on work, cut back on my business, cut back on the radio. Like I pushed all those aside because I literally just wanted to live. So,
That's right.
um, I then went through the whole process. The first month of my diagnosis, I had 3 surgeries. Um, after never having any surgeries before in my life. So it
What
was
kind of surgery?
So the first surgery was the biopsy.
Mm.
The second surgery was they had to insert a port so I can receive chemotherapy.
What?
So that
Right.
was very scary. Excuse my language. I was about to cuss,
I
but
mean, we Christians here.
like that hurt for weeks.
Mm.
I was in pain, and the last surgery was so before I started chemo, they actually had to extract my eggs and freeze them.
Wow,
So
that's a
it was
lot. I didn't know why they had to do all that. I
it
guess
was
I guess yeah, because you're messing with your body, it might throw something off.
and it was definitely scary, like the Twilight Zone, completely. And this took a while, but I
Like three
can't say
months.
3 months before chemo started, but I can't say um I wasn't happy about that because I was very afraid to begin chemo.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
where they
that's
cut your hair and everything, right? Before or did you do that after?
on my hair. I actually went like 4 months into chemo. I had 6 months of chemo total, but
Okay.
I went 4 months of chemo before my hair started falling out.
Huh.
Um, so my hair started falling out, and then they shaved it, and I only had 2 months left. So you
Mm.
know,
It looks good, by the way. Let's see.
thanks. Yeah, it's growing back. I'm getting kind of impatient, but I'm just going with the process.
But hey, with the perfect thing with that type of hair is you can wear wigs. You know what I mean? Throw on different look every night. You go out cool. This one yellow, this one purple. The next night.
I tried the wigs. I don't think it's for me. I there was one time I tried the wigs and tried
Mm.
to go out in it. It felt like a hat. So
That's
sometimes
right.
I walked into the bar and like, cause I guess I had scratched it,
Did it
and
move?
literally I looked in the mirror of the bar and it was just sitting on top of my
Yeah, because it's funny because I used to be seeing that, and I was like, "Yo, I wonder if she know her hat sitting on her head, like perched up, like it's supposed to look kind of natural."
Well, it's you supposed to pull it down. No, it was
Yeah,
literally sitting.
it
And I was
felt good.
like,
It felt
what?
good. He was like,
My head was warm, but
he said, I always say that. That's my little joke. I'll be like, "Yo, you forgot your hat. You got to twist your hat." Like, yeah, so I always say that. So that's when you call it a hat. Okay. Um, I guess it brings me to my next question. Do you believe God has a part in your perseverance and recovery?
100%. Anybody asks me how I got through cancer, my answer is God and marijuana.
Hey, marijuana is medicine. You know what I'm saying? Hemp is medicine. You know what I'm saying? It's just people abuse it. People abuse Tylenol. People abuse Percocets. Like they abuse different things. You know what I mean? That's just doesn't mean that God can't use you or work through you. Because a lot of people like to condemn themselves, and that's one thing. The added purpose to this is like don't condemn yourself because you falling short of the glory. You know what I mean? The text tells us all men have fallen short of the glory. That doesn't mean to not pursue him or to even adopt him in your life, saying you still love me even with my scars. And I feel like that's something that needs to be highlighted a lot more. You don't have to be dressed in white for God to see you. So
Word. And I definitely think God had a plan for me. I think he's still working through me, still, molding me to my purpose. But this was just one step of the journey, you know. I a lot of people told me that my journey was inspirational to them. My strength was inspirational to them. My faith was inspirational to them. How I never I mean, people on the outside saw this as, okay, like she's definitely Christian, like hardcore faith, and they respected that. But the truth is that, I there was sometimes I didn't know if I was gonna make it. There was sometimes I was angry at God. I was like, why me?
Mm,
Why me? Because cancer isn't the only thing I've been through.
mm.
I've had to overcome some very tough obstacles in my life. So like cancer was just like, the icing on the cake.
Now this.
And I was angry, truthfully, if we're being very honest. I was like, why? Like, why me, God? Like, like you couldn't
Yeah.
do this to anybody else, like,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
But
Hey.
then, um, my mother's voice comes in my head and says that God does not make bad things happen. That's the devil.
Yeah.
You know, God does not. God allows things to happen, but God does
He
not
doesn't
make
influence it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we have the free will to choose.
Yeah.
Um,
We choose our
and
sins, or our I guess because we choose what we not gonna do. We choose our consequences at the same time. So we should know the weight of our choices. So I
for
guess that, you know
for
says it
sure.
all. I'm trying to get better with the wordplay. You know what I'm saying? Be real punctual.
You doing it? You
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah. Yeah. Better with time. Better with time. Okay. So a lot has been going on recently, with the coronavirus out here and a lot of police killings. Like in light of Breonna Taylor's murder and like the other murders around the nation, like and we're all, it seems like now we're all having a conversation now about race and like bias, and it's the tensions are really high out here. And you being an African American woman, uh, I just want to highlight some of the struggles that you notice out here just economically. Like what's it like, just being a African American woman, if you could share that in this time period. Like, are you fearful, or are you hopeful for much needed like positive change? Like, what's your outlook right now?
Um, so very truthfully, at the start of the coronavirus, I was very afraid. And the main reason why was because as a cancer survivor, I'm immunocompromised, and when at the time that it started, I was still going through chemo.
Okay.
Um,
When was the actual date that you knew that it was gone and you ain't have to worry about it no more? The cancer.
Actually in June, June, like I think it was right the week before my birthday.
Okay.
Um, I found out that my cancer completely went into remission. So that
Nice.
was a beautiful birthday present.
Absolutely.
But
So
going back to what
yeah.
you were saying, um, I think my fear turned into faith because, I realized God got me through cancer and God is definitely going to get me through the coronavirus, So that's just my mindset. I had to do a mindset shift because, like, one of the things that I really learned and had the worst time with cancer was like, because trust me, it was hard mentally, physically, like the physical changes in your body, like it was a mental struggle. And I was fighting it. One of the things you really have to learn in life is to surrender. And I think that this whole process has taught me that, I am not in control. Like before, I was in control of so many things, my business, my life, like how I was treating my body.
Wow.
But like I had to surrender all of that to God and just trust that He was gonna bring me through it. And that's my biggest lesson now. Like now I have surrendered, and I'm completely letting God lead my life.
Walking
And
in it.
exactly. So So I know that, like, with the racism and
The
things that are
murders.
going on right now,
Yeah.
uh, one thing one thing I want to talk with Black people about is that racism is not our burden to bear. It's not our burden to bear because white people created this, right? And Black people are now the victims of it, the receivers of it. But truly, we can't fix it because it was never our machine that we created. The people who are going to fix it it has to be white people themselves. You know, they have to be the ones to surrender their power or surrender
Mm-hmm.
their mentality to one that we are all equal. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I bleed red, you bleed red, my
Mm-hmm.
insides are pink, your insides are pink, you know? And I think what Black people can continue to do is to be excellent. That's what we can do ourselves for our community. Love each other, love ourselves, love our Blackness fully, come to really know our history because our history does not begin with slavery. If you go
Exactly.
back if you go back time and time again, you know that we come from huge, beautiful, rich dynasties in Africa. You know, that's our ancestry, and that's the history that they erased from us so we can feel inferior.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that we have so much beauty and capability in ourselves and in our culture that we have yet to manifest. And I think that's what other races really truly realize and are afraid of. But we can't shy away from our greatness because they don't like it.
Mm.
A
It
lot of
seems
people
like that's
don't
what people are doing. They're like, oh
know.
no, like because they won't like it, because master won't like it. Like, so we need to come here and get it, and we if we the best, then that's hey, so be it. You know?
Exactly. We need to create our own version of what success looks like. We can't equate
Ah, come
our
on.
success to the white man's success. No, that's
No,
not
it's
going to be our
different. Yeah, it's
success.
different.
Our success is completely different. And I think when Black people really start to realize that and realize, wait, I don't have to conform to their idea of success, their idea of beauty, their idea of this, that, and the other, we can really start to manifest and reach our full potential and
Mm-hmm.
surpass that potential, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because like we're great people. And I see
Can't
a
be
lot of
stopped.
self-hate of Black men hating themselves, Black women hating themselves, wanting to erase their Blackness. You know, there is.
The
I
bleaching that
I I
skin.
I,
That.
I wake up and get high off my
Um,
Blackness. Like,
all right. So I mean, you was pretty much hitting on it already. Just inspiring people on what we should focus on. I don't want to hold you all day, so I was gonna come to the just like what specific words would you say to someone to encourage them, like who's going through adversity, who's going through persecution, maybe from the police, maybe just got that diagnosis. You know, what would you say to them right at the beginning, or even if they're through the middle, or even coming out of it? You know, what would you say to them to encourage them to stay strong?
I would say, don't look at the things here on earth because what we go through here on earth is to it's like a spiritual exercise. That's how we got to look at all of our trials and tribulations. It's a spiritual exercise that we're going to do and come out and be better, to be stronger. So, like for the person who just got that diagnosis or just lost that job, or you know, who's concerned about how they're gonna put food on the table for their kids, I just want to say I feel you. I know life is tough, um, and I can't tell you what to do or to believe. But what I can tell you is that with my trial and tribulation, God is what got me through it. Um, 100 step of the way. God, prayer, gospel music, meditation. I think this time with the coronavirus is it's a mournful time. It's sad, but it's also an opportunity for all of us
Mm,
to go into ourselves
mm,
and really explore what it is that makes us us, what it is that we love, our purpose, and to just grow spiritually within ourselves. If your mental health has been struggling, really work on that, whether it's to get therapy or, I've found that meditation is one of the most powerful things, because you focus on your breath, you work on your breath. Once you get control of your breath, then learn how to control stress
mm.
and
Anxiety and different things like that. That's
anxiety.
definitely encouraging that here. Just taking control of your mind and body, like focusing your mind, calming your mind, because
And
we're
feeding yourself
everywhere.
good things, like, you know um like, I don't drink anymore, I don't
At all?
smoke anymore, I don't drink at all anymore,
Okay.
I don't smoke at all anymore. I don't eat meat. I don't listen to music that is going to be violent for me. I don't
Mm,
watch shows that is going to be terrible to my soul, because
mm.
when we think about our diet, oftentimes we think about just what we're feeding ourselves, right?
Preach
Which
to
is
him.
important.
Preach to him.
When you're feeding yourself fried foods, when you're feeding yourself, artificial sugar and things like that, you feel your energy level decrease. And this is
Mm.
coming from someone who loves Oreos, let me tell you.
The
So I
snacks
know.
get you. Word, word. Yeah. Can't say no to
when
that Oreo.
when you feed yourself those greens,
Mm.
those fruits, those grains, you stay hydrated, you get your magnesium in, you get your other superfoods in and your vitamins. I'm telling
Alkaline. Dr. Sebi. Get your
you,
energy up.
you get your energy up, you feel electrified, your mental clarity is on point, is sharp. you know it's People say this and it might sound annoying because it's repetitive, but it's because it's the truth. And I used
Mm.
to think, oh my God, these people are so annoying, why are they talking about none? But it's the truth. Once
Mm-hmm.
you make that lifestyle switch, you'll see that it is
Mm-hmm.
real, like it's really real. And
Me personally, I add in the greens and all the grains and stuff, but I feel like I probably wouldn't ever permanently stop eating meat. Like I've lowered my consumption down, but I'm like I'm still gonna, like, once a month that pork chop getting cooked. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. When I get excited. When you're talking about like
ain't nothing wrong with
consuming,
being excited.
yeah, yeah, I know, but I just, because I want it to be coherent. I want you to understand what I'm saying. So when I'm speaking really fast, it doesn't come out. So let me slow my speech and be clear that when you're consuming food like McDonald's, the fried food, the pork chop boy, that's it's not feeding the energy in your body as well as the greens, the vegetables, and just eating more pure things. So in that same way, when you think about health and nutrition, you should think about spiritual nutrition and health as well. So it's like if a certain song changes your energy, changes your spirit to maybe be, worrying about drugs, taking Molly and all that, that's not really about your life. You about to go to Sunday school. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you shouldn't be consuming that through your ears, because you consume through different ways, your ears and your eyes. They say the eyes is the way to the soul.
All of your
So
senses, all of your senses.
so you want to be careful of that. Just different how you're consuming, what you're taking in, what you're listening to, uh, obviously what you're eating, and what
What
else
you're
would you say?
watching.
So watching the like the horror gory films. Like I know a lot of older Christian guys. They like, "Yo, I don't want to watch that gory knife stuff." So he said, it's just like, not there. But I'm like, that's cool.
You
That's like kind of
watch it.
you got to have that wall up, to keep that stuff out, and so you can keep light in, so you can just keep focusing on light and love and longevity.
Word,
So yeah.
word. I like that. And what I was gonna add is, like, porn is definitely something that is corrupting to the spirituality too. You know,
It is because
it's
it's a fleshly thing. It's a fleshly thing. You know what I'm
you know,
saying? That's really what it is. So I feel like on this journey, like you're saying, it's a spiritual exercise for us to, I guess, I imagine the end goal for us as Christians or human beings to is to just sacrifice our bodies. Just be like, I realize I don't need anything. I don't need any of this stuff. All I need is my spirit to be well. And now
because
I'm
that's
at
the
and
only
to
thing
be
you're
at
gonna take
peace.
with you.
And then
That's the
you
only thing.
leave. Yeah, like that's game over. You leave. So I'm glad. I'll be thinking this to myself. So I gotta, when I bounce it off somebody, I need to know if it's like what.
No, I think the same thing. Like, it's
Yeah,
so true. Like,
it's just like yeah,
I
you got
think
peace.
about this all the time.
The
You know,
body no longer controls you, and that's what fasting I feel is a part of. Like, what
absolutely.
controls us more than anything is our stomach. Where we gonna eat at? You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
When you're
most
hungry, you can't think about anything. Like,
where they got that at. Oh, I remember the last time I tasted. Oh yeah, I think I have a taste for yeah. How far away is that? Like we thinking about food all day, so that controls us. So when we get to fasting, periods of time, it tells you that you have the power to shed that you don't need that to survive. There's something else out there that you should be seeking for sustenance. And then you realize the things that you thought were so important aren't. Like it's so important for me and my friends to go out on Friday to eat steak. Like when you stop eating steak, you probably won't go to that dinner. You know what I mean? So that way it puts you in different.
save money.
Huh?
I said, and you save money.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole thing. This is what I aim to do with this podcast is to show how wealthy being righteous can be.
Hmm.
It's not about what you see on TV, like doing this and your videos. That's not happy. You know what I'm saying? That's not peace. A lot of money doesn't mean peace. That probably means a
Or
lot of headaches.
wealth is a state of mind. Seriously, it's a
And
state of mind. It has nothing to do with material things. One of my favorite quotes is, well, one of my favorite Bob Marley interviews, because Bob Marley is someone who I like really put up there as inspiration for me. An interviewer asked him like, "Are you a rich man?" And he says, "When you say rich, what do you mean?" And he was
yeah,
like,
I've seen that.
have you earned millions of dollars?" And he was like, "Nah." And he was like, "My richness is life."
Hmm.
And that has stuck with me because like when you're out here chasing money and things like that, it's very fleeting because money
Yeah.
comes and goes. Like
Yeah.
I experienced this. Like my business went under when I was going through chemo.
Mm.
I couldn't work. I was at the worst financial point in my life,
Mm.
but I had to learn how to let go of all the, like I said, surrender all the material things, let go of all of that. And really, what I was left with was me.
Hmm.
And like, there were some things where I was like, wow, I like this about myself. And there were other things where I was like, you know what, I would like to do better on some things. So when you really set aside the material things and you're not looking at that, you are left with just who you are. And that's the spiritual work, that a lot of people are afraid to do because looking at yourself and being honest is hard.
Yeah, it's scary
It's
too. It's because sometimes you don't recognize that person. You looking this way and you thinking this way, but then when you look, you be like, "Ooh, who that?"
hard.
You walking around light skinned, you dark skinned in the mud. No, I was playing. But yeah, you gotta check yourself, and I feel like that's probably the first step towards maturing. Just as
Word.
humans, it's like when you can look in the mirror and say, "This is me," or "I know who I am," and staying in that consciousness. It's like
Mhm.
I am based off of the decisions I'm going to make. So it's like
Right.
based off of these decisions, people are gonna know me by this. When I write my biography, I made this decision. I went this way. So it's like you gotta understand that you're the captain of your own boat, and you want to make sure you're going to that good destination, which is the Lord. I always point you to the Lord on
Hmm.
every podcast, and just understanding as well what that walk means. Just
Right.
because you gave your life to Christ doesn't mean you're not gonna go through stuff. Don't mean you're not gonna go through the worst of stuff.
Hmm.
But
The Lord will see you through and he will bless you. He says, whoever walks in my name has my favor, you know? Um, and so like there was times where I swear I didn't know how I was gonna pay some bills. And out of
mm,
nowhere, like just money shows up
mm,
out of
mm,
nowhere, you
ain't that
know?
always the one? I always hear that one. Like, oh yeah, the money one. Oh yeah, I had no money. Lord made a way. Thank you, Jesus. So
No.
nah, but hey, he come through like that. God bless him. But I know that God come through in other ways too. So it's like, I think I'm about to die. No, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I don't know where my kid at. Boop, boop, get the phone call. Or it could be the simple thing like, God, I hope I get this job. Hey, can you come for the second interview? You know what I mean? Things like that that I believe God deserves the glory for as well.
Very true. So true.
Even
And
when yeah.
what I love to see is like people our age, because I've always been somebody who, well, now in my older 20s, I would say, open about my faith, right? I don't care who don't want to believe. Like I'm gonna believe what I want to believe. But
Yeah.
I've also been on the other side where I was confused. I wanted to believe, but I didn't want to speak up about it and look lame, like look, you
Mm,
know. And
baby faith.
what I'm noticing now is people are really talking more about it, about their faith, and not afraid
Yeah.
to get back to the church, get back to their spirituality, and
Awakening is
when
good.
our generation is in our 40s, 50s, like when we are the leaders, I really see that things are going to be transformed because we are more of the open, free thinkers, and we don't. I don't see our generation really being with um that constraint. Like we're more so do what makes you happy,
Yeah,
like
entrepreneurship, which I'm going to tell you now about joining Herbalife. This is for you and my viewers watching. It's been a great supplement for me because I love to eat. You know what I'm saying? But I also want to slim down. So that's why I started doing the breadless burger. But when I use my meal shake, I still get my protein, I still get my vitamins. I got a little ice in there so it's chilled, or you can have it warm. But when I take that, I'm still getting the vitamins, and I get the little I'm not hungry no more sensation. And then it's still working on my figure. You know what I mean? I'm still slimming down because we burn calories throughout the day. So it's really about intake. Uh, and I really appreciate that being a supplement for me.
but I am interested in the Herbalife because I know one of my friends, she has a business, Online to Thrive. She does Herbalife too, and she started making these protein donuts. And
Okay, her. I remember hearing somebody she put in a microwave boy.
well, I don't know what she does, but all I know is them joints are
Yeah,
blazing.
the
Like,
flavors are good. Herbalife already has good flavors. So it's like I used to see it as like it's an investment because like you got to pay for the products. They're a little pricey, but I'm like if I compare that to what I spend eating out, or like if I didn't do this, what would I spend on food? And it equate for me spending more money. So I was just like, you know what? Nah, let me just introduce this in here to my life, and it'll help me in dual ways. One, save money. Two, look great. So and it tastes good. It, it's not horrible. I'll recommend you checking out the store so you can see the different products. But I'll post it, or I'll tag you. I'll send you the store link so you can look. But yeah, it's really great. Back to it.
mhm.
So what's next for you? Since you got cancer free, Corona's still here, but it seems like it's fading out. Jobs are opening up. Like, what's the next moves for you right now after going through this latest trial?
Well, right now my priority is to maintain my health, stay on my eating diet, my exercise, meditation, just
Mm.
making sure my mind, body, and spirit is, top notch. That's my number one priority right now. Um, and really letting God lead the way in helping me to discover my purpose. Um, I will be going to California for a month in September.
Okay.
Um, so,
What for?
that's something that's next, huh?
What for?
Actually to grow my business. So,
Okay.
um,
What's the
I'm
business? You keep saying
so
this is
right
a business.
right now I'm doing two things. I consult doing public relations, and um, I am a swim teacher. So I'm going to California because in September it starts to get cold here. So going
Sure.
over there to continue with the lessons because it's warm there all the time.
Nice. So you got
So
like clients already?
yeah, I have clients here, and I travel up and down the tri-state area teaching.
Nice. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, it's cool. So I get to exercise and teach kids. It's a win-win. It
Yeah,
really
it's
is.
great. Wow, I didn't know that. Look at you. Keep getting your Michael Phelps on. Word,
Yeah.
that's dope. So what if somebody wanted you to teach them how to swim? Like how could they find you?
Well, right now, so my social media is not set up yet, but it will be at the Swim Guru.
Okay.
Still launching all the platforms, but
I'll
right
add
now
that
you
into
can
the chat.
find me,
Text
you
that to me.
sure. Right now you can find me on Instagram. My IG is Dayna the Hope Dealer. You can also book me on aquamobile.com. So yeah, I'll send all those to you and you can,
I'm gonna
you
put them
know,
in the comment section in the bio.
thank you. Yeah. I
All
appreciate
right. Yeah, of course. We got it. We got to show love, to everybody. I appreciate you showing love and telling your story here on my platform, on my podcast, blessing my podcast with your presence and your story. But that's what you
Thanks
said
for having
earlier,
me.
huh?
I said thanks for having me. I'm honored to be on here. You're
Oh
doing great
man,
work. It's
you don't
very new.
even know. That's what I wrote down. I said you when you were talking about writing in your journal and right before the diagnosis you said that you were speaking with God, you had a moment with God, and he said he was going to use you for inspiration. And at that moment I want to say doing this is going to inspire people. So I wanted to confirm that, what I mean, just put that little because it popped
All
in
the
my
best.
head right
And
then.
let me know if you want. I think if you want to see that journal passage, just to add to
Yeah,
this.
if you want, yeah, let's do it. I thought you
Let me
had it prepped.
let me see if I can pull it out. Let me.
That's confirmation right there.
Yes. So
Definitely gonna
yeah,
post this.
this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm gonna pull it up for you right now.
Definitely
So
gonna post this.
this was September. I don't know if you can see
16th,
that.
2019.
September. Yep. So it's pretty short. I'll read it. It says, it's been 10 days written, since I've last written. I'll start that over. Give me 1 second. It's been 10 days since I've last written in my gratitude journal, but I was focused on circling back during my absence. I have so much to be grateful for since we've last spoke. I recently had surgery on my neck area, which going in caused me a significant amount of anxiety. God spoke to me though, and my fears melted away. I was assured I would be fine and that God was using me as a means for inspiration. Of course, I still don't completely understand what that means, but I have faith. My life was not cut short for this surgery. I came out unscathed on the other side, just with a little nick on my neck to show that I had been entered. My results will be God's will. He promised he would see me through, but didn't specify on the journey. His will is my path and forged path for my steps. I'm grateful to be alive today. Thank you, Lord. I pray for your continued strength and perseverance. And then, so it wasn't actually the next day, but this is September 27th.
Okay, a few days later.
So the diagnosis happened the next day, but this is 10 days after all that. So this is like my reaction. September 27th, 2019. Life throws curveballs your way to shake things up and expedite your growth process a bit. So I just read my last journal entry and bursted into tears. One day before I got my diagnosis, I wrote about God speaking to me. He told me I would be fine. The result was something called Hodgkin's disease, lymphoma, a rare blood cancer. I'm grateful for my cancer. It's already taught me a lot about human beings. It needs to understand that it's not welcome, though. It's going to have to leave. As for me, I'm leaving it all in God's hands. This is God's story. The way in which he wants to express it is up to him or her. I have a few questions for the Lord, but I can wait a few more decades to ask him.
Yeah.
God has a plan for me. All this time, I've been trying to figure out my purpose when it's unfolding in front of my eyes in real time. I'm grateful and honored that the Lord has chosen me for this experience to tell this story. I pray I'm faithful and subservient to his requests. And that was my journal entry.
Staying strong in there.
It's crazy to me.
I'm writing something down. You said, don't look for your journey because it's unfolding right in front of you. I was like, woo! You just said some gas right there.
You funny, yo.
I was like, wow. Yeah.
But yeah, it's real, you know, and like sometimes like when people doubt God and things like that, like I just find it amazing. I just look at people like that and it's not that I pity them. I just say wait, you know. I don't know if you could hear that, the crazy beeping outside.
Yeah, I heard that. There's like, come get your pizza. No.
But when someone doubts God and his ability and things like that, I just look at them and I just know that an experience is coming in their life to change their mentality. So I don't pity them. I don't, you know, judge them at all. But what I do think in those moments is just wait, you know, just wait.
Your lesson's coming.
Yeah, your time is coming. Not your time as in something bad, but like an experience is coming to change you in a way that you never knew that you were capable of. And you're gonna come out on the other side of that and realize that was not me. That was God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
something pushed you through that. He was just like, he was walking, then next you know, pew, and you look back, you like, dang, I did that. He said, no, it won't just me. It won't just me. But you know, I was there though. I was chugging along. Then after you passed it. And that's what my last podcast episode's about, which you gotta watch. It's about using it's about using your time wisely, but I titled it Perfect Timing. So it's like it's now's your time to continue. Like, oh, I'm gonna do it later. No. Keep continuing, keep working through it. It's gonna hit. Don't put it off till later. Like, now is the perfect time.